doesn't seem to me that special interest groups can come in and co-opt the people who, the traditional owners of the land, co-opt their right to say yes. So my question to you is, how do you want to be engaged? You said you want to be a part, you want to be invited to the action planning. How do you want to be engaged? What's the message you want to get through, within the Articles of UNDRIP to make sure that Indigenous communities can say yes?
Well, I think there's an ability to incorporate through the action plan a stronger version of the ESG legislation that's implied legislation that corporations are now enacting. I've always said, we've had 12,000 self-identified first Indigenous people working in the oil and gas industry as of 2015. Now, 2020, there are 14,000. That's 2,000 person increase. In a time when everybody in the oil and gas industry is getting laid off, more Indigenous people are getting hired. This is because of the commitment by the corporations, the natural resource industry, to include First Nations in their development process and major projects. And I think the action plan should incorporate more ability for project proponents to be able to give full participation to Indigenous people, so that this UNDRIP legislation is just so that it's not just good for environmentalists. So it's not just good for lawyers, right? I mean, our whole legal system has been developed for Indigenous law across this country, probably the only and biggest Indigenous law group in the world, because of so much uncertainty, because of so much ambiguity that arises in our court systems for First Nations. And it's because we never really get any tangible benefits out of anything, right? And I think we should follow the U.S. law. I mean, there's never been a lawsuit in Alaska because of natural resource development, because the First Nations run it, right? And they protect the environment, they protect the water. Canadians generally are great people, good people. They want to protect the environment. If you knew all the oil and gas people that I know, you would see that these are real Canadians. They really want to protect the environment. They want to do the best for the communities. They want to do the best for the First Nations. And if they have the power under legislation like the action plan can develop, this could be a moving point for us in our ability to defeat poverty. And I'm not sure if the action plan has that, because I've heard that the 3-year action plan has now been reduced to 2 years. Who knows when this passes? Maybe it's going to be reduced to 6 months. So this is the kind of thing that we need to act on. And we've struggled with C-48 and C-69 after all these years, after all the opposition and all the trips we made to Ottawa and so forth. But the government at the time didn't take our issues and concerns seriously. I hope they do this time, because they don't have a majority government. I hope they take our issues and concerns this time seriously, and they realize that the AFN doesn't represent everybody. The AFN doesn't have 620 chiefs at their assemblies every year. They're lucky to get 170. Probably with more proxies. So it's got to be communities and organizations like us having a say and getting some real exposure to the kind of things that are going on in government, especially the action plan that's going to happen here soon.
Thank you. I have a Treaty Indian son who works in the industry, so I know exactly what you're saying. Jobs are good.
I got 5 of them. So.
Okay, you win.
Thank you, Mr. Swampy. Senator Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief Arcand, I'd like to speak more with you about the concept of manufactured consent that you